Tomorrow, the NTSB begins removing the wreckage from a deadly medical helicopter crash north of Kansas City. The crash killed 4 people. 47-year-old Randy Bever from Savannah was the flight nurse. 36-year-old Chris Frakes, also from Savannah, was on board as the paramedic. 34-year-old James Freudenberg from Rapid City, South Dakota, was the pilot. The patient has now been identified as 58-year-old Terry Tacaronte. The Eurocopter AS-350 crashed near Mosby just before 7 last night. It went down in a field 2 miles from where it had planned to land to refuel. Donald Mays found the wreckage last night.
I got down there and I said, don't look like there's any survivors, it's a bad crash, and I found one pilot towards the tail end of the wreck, and I found the other pilot ejected 30 yards out in front.
The helicopter was headed to Liberty Hospital. Tonight, the victims were honored with a special procession as their bodies were taken to St. Joseph, where the helicopter was based. Jake Peterson was there, and he's here now with more on those who were on that flight.
Well, Chris, the victims came from all over the U.S., and they all had different stories. One was a wife visiting family in Bethany, the other a veteran who fought in Afghanistan. They had very different lives, but they all died while trying to get to a hospital in Liberty. Under a falling sun, I-29 lit up Saturday night with the lights of first responder vehicles. The motorcade carried the bodies of the medics from Kansas City to St. Joseph. Cars stopped, people got out, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still.
Our condolences to the family.
Craig Yale is the vice president of Air Methods, the group that runs the medic service. He says some of the crew members had been working in northern Missouri for more than 10 years. Others just started last year.
These were very dedicated, committed people that were passionate about doing what they're doing.
Randy Bever helped start the FlightNet operation in 1998. Paramedic Chris Frakes had been flying with the company for 5 years. And pilot James Freudenberg just started with the company, but he was a military pilot until 2010. His last mission was in Afghanistan. The crew was taking 58-year-old Terry Tacaronte from her family's home in Bethany to Liberty Hospital. Neighbors say she and her husband were visiting from Colorado. It's not apparent why the helicopter went down, but Yale says they stopped in Mosby to get more fuel. Some local pilots suggest the aircraft ran out of gas.
Well, obviously that was not a planned stop. I would say that was probably an emergency stop.
The company's vice president says it's too soon to tell why the chopper went down.
I don't know. We won't know for a while, but I would suggest that it's probably important not to jump to conclusions, because frequently in these accident investigations, other things come to light.
And the company is organizing a remembrance ceremony for all of the victims. That is slated in St. Joseph, but an exact location hasn't been determined. Jake Peterson, NBC Action News.